I've heard your guys' new single, Antenna.
Down to the primitive man of the world, they left you out in the cold.
I love it. My girlfriend and I play it when we're drunk sometimes.
I've got an antenna all caught in me. I've got an antenna all caught in me.
Thanks, man.
Tell me, what is it about exactly? Just give me the gist of it.
Okay, so Sinhle, we're gonna like relay this shit here, so let's get this good. So Antenna's kind of like about, quite broadly speaking, it's like about like trying to take control of your own thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Like kind of trying to find some semblance of, this is gonna sound pretentious, but it's like trying to find some individuality in a world that is kind of like all bought and sold and a bit like, I don't know, predetermined.
What I also heard is, especially on that new song, it sounded like it has a bit of influence from those British post-punk guys like Idols and Shame. Am I correct? Am I correct in saying that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially the bass line is really like a chug, just really cool.
Thanks, dude. I don't know if it was like completely intentional. I just think it's what kind of came out of us just because of the music we were listening to at the time, like bands like Idols and Shame. So I don't know if it was a conscious choice that like we want to sound like that. It just kind of came out that way, which I'm very happy with, obviously.
Yeah, it sounds great. It also sounds like you guys have been maturing. I don't know, it sounds a bit more refined. Do you guys feel like you've come a long way? How would you describe the journey you guys have had as a band the last while?
Well, I mean, if we think about the early times of the band, we really had no idea what we were doing, dude. It was like we were like really just, we're all kind of like a little bit lost, and we just decided to start a band, and then we like got some songs going, and then PJ joined up with us, and then we started obviously writing more songs, playing shows, and it feels like, I don't know if this is like 5 or 6 years in, but we're finally getting a bit better at everything. You know, it takes a long time. You always plateau as a musician, and it takes like so much work just to move one step up again. And
That's true.
So I think, so we feel like we're getting somewhere.
And with the new album, without giving too much away, do you think it's culminated the progress you've made with the new album?
I think like Sean said, like obviously when we first started, we didn't really have much technical ability, but we had like the energy. So with this last album, we were trying to get back to that same excitement and energy we had in the beginning, and then sort of trying to let go of like the whole idea of like, well, for me personally anyway, trying to like prove how good we are at instruments now, and just sort of let the song serve itself. Because I feel like with the last album, we focused a lot on trying to impress people, I always think, with like just how much we've grown. But I think we kind of lost track of like what made Nuns in the process of doing that. And now for the first time, like, our technical ability and our like musical influences and taste have like sort of converged into like a point where it kind of all makes, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
Agreed.
And with the writing of new songs, has your approach changed at all? What is it like? Is it a more collaborative effort? Because you're a 5-piece band, which is quite big actually. If anyone has played it, you know it gets exponentially more difficult with each member you add to the band. So what's the writing process like for you guys?
So the writing process up until now, it's mainly been like, I don't know what the percentage is, but like a large amount of the songs, I'll write the most of the parts, most of the songs, I'll write most of the parts and all the vocal melodies and a lot of all the lyrics. And then obviously as a band, we have to like make it sound, because you know, when you write stuff at home in your bedroom, you're not accounting for drums and like, or you try to, but it's difficult. So we kind of come together. And then I think the best thing about Nuns is like, even though I do write a large amount of the music, like we have a whole thing where like everyone is told like, do your own thing, dude. Like we always say to each other when we're like, dude, what should I do on this one? We're like, dude, you do you, babe. We always say that to each other. It's just like, it's like, So that's the process up till now. I think we are interested in maybe exploring writing in a room together, because we at that point now, like Sinhle was saying, where we're converging with a bit of technical ability and stuff. So but for this album I wrote I wrote this one on my own, the songs, and then we put them together, and a lot of them changed massively in that process for sure.
And with the lockdown, have you been writing a lot, Sean, or how's that affected your production, so to speak?
Dude, I've been on a bit of a tear because I've got my studio set up at the beginning of the year. So I've actually been, because we want to do Nuns in a more collaborative way, like for the next one, I think, because we like this album Split is coming out now. We're not under too much pressure to write, so we kind of just letting that marinate for a bit. But I've written a lot of solo music, and I play in 2 other bands, and I've done like a lot of recording. So my production is quite high, and as a band, we're moving on some projects like lockdown kind of content, you know, like that we can put together while we're all far away. So we're kind of making it work. Yeah.
It's obviously like difficult though, not being able to be in the same room with each other. But like Sean said, like there is content that we have planned. When it comes out there, I'm not really sure like when it'll be coming out.
With the lockdown going on, and it's affected the music industry a lot. And I see a lot of people talk about life post-lockdown and see it as an opportunity to like, it's almost like a bushfire, you know, you burn away all the shit and give space for stuff to regrow in a new way. You guys have any hopes for the music industry post-lockdown, some changes, something positive you can see coming out of this whole shit show?
We shall rise like a phoenix. Like it's difficult to say at this point because obviously like everyone's livelihood's been put at hold, especially people who rely on music to live. So I think if anything, hopefully people will understand the importance of people like in the entertainment and music industry. Now that it's been taken away from them so abruptly, hopefully next time around people have a greater appreciation and contribute more towards these arts and culture things that we have going in our city or in our country essentially. And then that'll hopefully encourage people to support the arts, because to support the arts as well as just not ask for fucking guests all the time, and like just instead of trying to get in for a free party, like rather contribute to your own local music scene. Because in times like this, like if we had consistent support before this, a lot of us could have been a lot better off during this time, you know?
Yeah.
And I know of a lot of friends of mine who just do music and like they are really fucking struggling, or people who are just sound engineers or just event planners, and like they're the ones who are getting punished the most, and they're the ones that create our entertainment and our scene and like create the things that we can do on the weekends. So hopefully now coming back, people will have a greater appreciation for those people and just throw their hearts and wallets behind them.
Yeah, definitely.
I was also just going to say that like for a lot of us, especially like where Nuns is from, it's quite a like underground kind of like garage scene, you know. So most of us work other jobs, and those of us who do are lucky if we still have employment, right? But I think because of that, like we have never done this for money or anything. We've done it because we started doing it, and now we're kind of like addicted to it. So we like, you know, I know that a lot of us like in the scene are like that. Like we're really just going to keep doing it until we like fall apart. So I have a lot of faith in that side of things. I think the scene has always gone through so many ups and downs and so many moments where it's like, oh, I don't know if we're going to hold it together, and it just pulls through. So I have a lot of faith in everyone on the ground, but the economics of things will definitely shift things in an uncertain direction, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's very true. And it's what I found interesting with the lockdown is it kind of shows companies and people's true colors, you know, like these big Virgin Active that doesn't want to pay their employees paid leave, stuff like that. But then you see musicians put out make new content for people, you know, actually trying to help. You know, it shows like true colors in all the industries. So I'm personally hoping, you know, that it's just going to show us who's shit and who's not shit, and then we can really take it from there. Yeah. And what's in the pipeline for you guys? I know it's all very uncertain. I read somewhere you guys had a tour planned in Europe for this year.
Yeah, for sure. So we had like a tour in Europe that was going to take place in June and July. It was going to be about 18 or 19 shows over 3 weeks. So it was going to be quite a busy, exciting time. But I mean, so the whole tour was going to be based out of Italy in the first place, right? So as soon as it started hitting Europe, obviously Italy was the first place. And now we were immediately on the phone to each other like, okay, we got to just be careful. Yeah. And we're quite lucky because we didn't end up we hadn't bought plane tickets or paid for renting gear that side or anything yet. We just have to pay the booking agent for the work he's done. But we do now what we're going. Yeah, no, he's done a lot. Filippo in Italy, Roelof, and so we just got to pay him a little bit. That's not a big hit, and we're going to just move it to. Sorry, that's my dog. We're going to move.
Lemon.
We're going to move the tour to 2021, like on a similar itinerary, just on obviously slightly different dates, but it'll be moved. Yeah, so hopefully by then we can get out there and finally go overseas. That'll be amazing.
I hope so. I really do. I was also hoping to go to Berlin this weekend, but it's all fucked now. Other than the tour, do you guys have any like live streams planned? Any lockdown content planned at all?
I mean, Sean's done 2 live streams already with Glitch Culture and Hello Music. And then there is a video in the pipeline in my personal capacity as a band, where we're going to try put out a couple of songs, but via things like this, like House Party and Zoom and Skype. And so we're all recording and all record independently. And then our manager, Mr. Warren Fisher, who's also our engineer, / does everything for us.
Our dad.
Yeah.
He's listening together, hopefully it's rad. But we'll see.
Yeah, I want to jump back a bit. When I asked the writing process, Sean, you said you write most of it. Was there anything different with this new album?
So I guess that's a cool question. I think with this one, it was like, obviously you move around slowly over time. And with the first album, Holy Collusion, it was obviously like we were still deep in the, we still very much thought of ourselves as like a garage band in the vein of like our big influences like Black Lips and all those kind of guys. And then we wanted to do like a mature kind of take on that, which I do think is a really cool album, but it's not like when we play live, we want to kind of like break stuff and make like mayhem. That's like what we enjoy. So with this album, I think I just wanted to, I just felt like, I want to play those riffs and sing those songs that are just really intense. And once I started writing, it all just started getting really fast and crazy. And then I was obviously showed it to the band as it was being written. And then PJ it was so cool. He was just like, this is the sound. And he was like, we need to call it something super gross, like Spit. And then that was the name from that moment. So it was definitely like more of a bit more honest for me, like way more. I'm getting better at being more honest when I write music. Like it's like being less self-conscious and just like being honest with my words, a lot more like self-reflective about like mental health and just like general stuff, So it's, I think it is quite different to the other stuff in that way for sure.
Well, that makes it more relatable, because music is therapy in a big way. And if you write it as therapy, people will enjoy it as therapy.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, for sure. I think all of us use the music and the shows and the band for therapy, 100%. I think that's why we do it.
Really, it becomes cathartic.
Yeah. Did you guys start as a 5-piece? Were you all together, like 5 of you guys, like hell yeah, let's start a band, or how did it happen?
This is a story. Okay, I'll tell part of it. So first it was, me, Desmond, Sinhle and Noah went to high school together. So me and Des and Sinhle were there from grade 8. So we met each other when we were like 13. Very different. We all looked very different back then. And then Noah joined us in grade 10 and he was immediately like one of our mates. And then what happened was me, Sinhle and Des, mainly Sinhle had this idea of wanting to play in a band forever, and him and Desmond like got together with a couple guys, which included PJ, like about a year before Nuns, and they kind of jammed, but they didn't really get far enough to want to play a show or whatever. They just weren't happy with it. And then I got back on board with the idea. I was like, okay, let me there goes Sinhle. I was just like, okay, I'll jump on this. I kind of feel like something different. And then the 3 of us started writing songs. And then what happened was, it's quite a funny story. So then we were looking for a drummer. We played with a few people, but a lot of guys didn't have time. And then we linked up with PJ because Des and Sinhle had played with him from the previous project. And he's he's such a skilled drummer and such a great musician. So it was immediately cool. But also, we didn't know him yet. So we obviously took time to kind of get to know each other and kind of form that. What we have now is a very, very close band, right? Like we're super tight. But back then we were still getting to know each other. And then the way Noah joined is really funny. I'll spare some of the details, but basically it was Sinhle's birthday and we were kind of in a weird space and we were jamming, and Noah was with us, and he wasn't in the band yet. He would just come with and like help us with his bucky. He'd take our amps for us because he's a nice guy. And then we were all playing, and then he was sitting in the corner, and he just started whacking a tambourine against an amp, just like over and over. And we were just completely blown away. We were like, oh my word, he can play the tambourine. That's perfect. He's in the band, because we just wanted him in the band.
Yeah.
And then he was part of it. So it kind of formed over time, but now, yeah, I mean, it's seriously like a proper family at this point. It's intense.
And I know this is a cliche question, but I just want to know, how did you get to the name Runaway Nuns?
I want to know, because I don't know if I even know the whole story well enough, but I think I do. But how did we get the name Runaway Nuns? Why did we make that shocking decision?
Oh shit. So when we like first started to make music, we obviously had a couple of names running around, but we couldn't really make a decision that we could stick to amongst ourselves as the band. So what we did one night was we got drunk at our local watering hole back then, which was Hobnobs. And we got a whole bunch of our mates to come with us, and we ended up putting some names in a hat and had them draw, and then people would vote on each name as it came out, and that's the name that had the most votes. So we stuck to it. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, I don't remember the other options, but I my memory, which it might be wrong, I think it was Ashley Pote, our friend, who wrote the name Runaway Nuns. I'm not sure, or came up with it. That's the feeling I have.
I wrote it, dude. It was a name that I came up with, but then there was a bunch of other names in the hat. So we just had to
see. I'm learning so much, dude. That's so cool to know, man.
It's a very democratic way to pick a name.
That's what, when you're in a 5-piece, everything is democracy, and it can be tiring.
Yeah, I heard someone say once, being in a band is like having a relationship with 3 or 4 other guys.
Literally, dude. I see these dudes more than I see like my own girlfriend, like my dog. It's like, I think the lucky thing was with us is that we actually get along quite well, and we were friends for like many years before this band started, and I think that makes the biggest difference, because I think when you're forced to spend that much time with someone, obviously you get each other's fucking nerves.
Yeah,
I was in like the same situation with people. I don't know if I would be doing this long. Like, luckily we all want to hang out anyway, so music just becomes an extension of us wanting to hang out with each other. Whereas I know other people have problems with that.
What's the longest you guys have been on tour together?
The longest tour we've done, dude, I think it was Cabin Fever, but we did, like, it was weird because, so we went up, most of the guys, we went with, it was 4 bands, right? Right, it was 4 bands. It was us, Retro Dizzy, Julia Roberts, and The Valley, okay, which is like all of our best friends. And it was going on the train up to Joburg, but I'm a school teacher, so I couldn't go up on those days. I had to fly on Friday. So everyone went on the train. I joined up on Friday.
I missed it.
Yeah, we played a show in Joburg. I think we played in Hillbrow. It was like really weird. And then we played a show at Millipop, which was super cool. And then we came back. And then on Sunday, everyone else stayed, right? Everyone else stayed there. And then I flew back to go to school. So I flew back for schools for breakup day, and then I flew back again, and then we went to Lush Festival to Clarence. We also played some show. We played a show at Arcade Empire. After that, it was like altogether it was about 2 weeks. I kind of went on and off, but it was completely brutal. Like, I think, I don't know. I was already nervous for 3 weeks in Europe is going to be a challenge of Olympic proportions, I think. Yeah.
Well, at least in Europe, you've got distractions. You know, it's a new country, and new food, and new people. But yeah, it would be tough. It can go both ways. Otherwise, one side you'll be like stimulated and distracted. The other side you might be a bit intimidated. You know, no support system up there. You know.
Yeah, I think that'll be quite fun, because I think one of the most like romantic parts of playing music is when you're like a new band and you don't know if people like your music, and then you play these shows with like an uncertainty. Because now when we play in Cape Town, usually we have a certain degree of confidence that it's going to go okay, because people know us and like us. But it's so fun when you're playing to people who just have no idea what's going to happen, because then you feel like you're actually presenting your music. And yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and when I'm in the audience, I love that when I discover a band. You know, when you have no preconception, no bias, nothing. You just...
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Okay, cool, man. Thank you very much, dude.
Thanks, Sean. Sinhle. Have a good one.
Welcome home. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bringing down to a primitive